All of you are welcome to the chemistry presentation video lectures in which the various issues are concerned and one of the important concern and that is the water pollution. So water itself is related with the various activities of human being. So now we can say that particular relationship of human being with water itself is most important and various technologies are available to get the different uh, technologies for the water treatment. All of you know about that water itself is one of the essential commodity and that needs for the purpose of various developments and different technologies are primarily based on the water use. Here, because of the so many chemicals are added in our life, there is the anthropological activities, and so that we get the water itself is polluted. So what is the meaning of the polluted water, and what is the meaning of contaminated water? Here, two words are there: contamination and pollution. So water get polluted by such chemicals, and those chemicals are the essential part of that particular chemicals are used, and those uh, gives the toxicity to ourselves, our body itself, and that become toxic if toxic chemicals are added. So number of toxic chemicals are present on uh, whatever different resource sources of toxic chemicals which we are using. Very simple example is the use of the pesticides and use of waste, industrial waste, because those particular industrial waste are poured into the water resources. So there is no any such coordination between the industrial waste and the natural water present. So what we have before that we have to come towards the water resources. So water resources are contaminated or polluted with the addition of the waste. So here for example, if suppose we have the municipality supply waste. So in case of the municipality supply waste, certain different materials are added into the water sample. So here, because of the specific characteristics of water, and that characteristics that is the novel uh, characteristics of water that it can solubilize all the materials. So therefore, this is the universal solvent. Because when we have to discuss about the fundamental of the chemistry, here the basic relevance with the solution. So what do you mean by the solution? Solution means the solute which are present and around us, and that solute easily solubilize, easily get solution in the solvent. Solvent and solute both are the two different compounds or two different materials. So if suppose we have the sodium chloride, the table salt is there, or whatever other salts are there. So all those salts can be solubilized uh, in whatever we can say those can soluble in water. So this is one of the most characteristics of water, that water is this universal solvent where all chemicals or material get get to dissolve in the sample of water. So here, water pollution. Today, I discuss what are the causes of pollution. So here, first of all, I give the information regarding the water, and all of you know about that. the molecular formula of water is the H2O. Here, the 18 itself is the molecular weight, because in case of the here two hydrogens are there, so atomic weight of two hydrogen is 2, and atomic weight of oxygen is 16. So 16 plus 2, 18 is the molecular weight of water. So here we come another issue, and that issue is the boiling point. So all of you know about what is the boiling point of water, and that can be explained that when we gives the heat to the liquid, so the liquid phase is converted into the gaseous phase. So that particular transformation from the liquid to gas, here the process of boiling occurs. So therefore, that particular temperature is called the boiling point of that particular liquid. Here water itself is liquid. So here when we heated the water, and water itself then at particular specific temperature of that particular compound is called the boiling. Here also can say the melting point, but melting point is of what? Before that, we have to see water have the three different phases. So, what are those particular phases of water? We have to see, and physical states, and those are the phases also. Water present in the solid phase, and water present in the liquid phase. So, one question is there: how these phases correlate with each other? We see rainfall. So what happened? That is the water cycle. So what is about the water cycle? Here, something the different processes occurs, and those processes are because of the water. So here, uh, the water first of all liquid form, and this vaporize into the gaseous form. So in case of the water cycle, that is the fall, the rain. So that concern, first of all, water itself is evaporated, and then that particular water is condensed, and then precipitation occurs. Then rain will be fall on them. So that particular water is further used. So vaporization, condensation, and some water goes to high side, and that become the solid, that become the ice. So ice itself is further melted, so that is the melting point. So in those particular case, we have to see the one thing is the vaporization, another thing is the condensation, another concern the melting. So all these three activities occurs here. One more thing is there, and that is the sublimation. So melting point of ice itself is the solid phase of water. So melting point of ice is 0 degree centigrade. Boiling point of water is 100 degrees centigrade. Now further we can say that this is one of the universal solvent. So what we have to say that because of universal solvent, this can dissolve number of materials. For example, concerned with the agriculture. In case of the agriculture, the crop is there, plants. We so different plants uses the water, and always also use different chemicals, different whatever those the salts present in a sample of water, as well as the soil is there. So during the soil interaction of water, so all those particular chemicals come into the water. So that is what we have. So particular specificity of water is there. So therefore, in agriculture produce, the available chemicals in soil, available chemical in the water, so all those come into the plant. So that is a very abstraction phenomena. So therefore, water itself is universally solvent because all things goes to that particular, and that particular water is needed for the grow of a specific produce. So therefore, in case of the agriculture, we have to see that particular water itself is used, and so therefore we call that water is the universal solvent. So this is the what we have to concern now. Essential for the human being, our different organs, which contains ample amount of water. The proportionate of body and the material that is present in our body, that is the vital material, and that is the water. So all physiological activities of human being are carried out with the help of the water. So water acts as a medium in our body. So mostly uh, different organs. For example, we have to see that heart. So heart relates with the blood, and then blood relates with the water. Because so every part of our body is directly related with the, for example, skin. So in case of the skin, hydration and dehydration. So hydration because of the water. So when we have to see the different muscles, so in case of the different muscles, that is also relates with the water. So this water is one of the essential requirement for the human need. Then the drinking water that we are using for the drinking purpose, that is also essential for every individual. So what happen in case of the drinking water? We if we have no drinking water, so definitely we can die. Why we died? Because the life sustaining material is the water. If in that particular water is contaminated with other material, what happen? It's polluted by the pollutants. So definitely our health will be destroyed. So health issues are concerned. Number of health issues are there. Number of diseases are there. A number of those diseases called waterborne disease. So waterborne disease, the base cause is the pollutant available in that particular. Number of pollutants are there, including the chemical pollutants as well as the biological pollutants as well as physical pollutants. In case of the physical pollutants, if color is there, so if water color is there, water is not transparent when we are drinking. One more thing is there. Number of peoples have no accessibility of pure water, so they drink whatever they have. So therefore, it is one of the great role for the for all of the individual, and so drinking water is one of we have already discussed about the agriculture, the irrigation. Then we have the commercial water, whatever the use in the commercial purposes. Then infrastructure, we have to see the different infrastructure developments, either making either the roads, either high buildings, any of the buildings that is related with the water. The civil works are carried out with the available water. Here I am giving the availability of that particular water. Various infrastructure. Then one more thing is there. Whatever the water use is there, and after using the water, and because of the solubility of water, this particular water is thrown outside, and that is the wastewater. For example, the municipality, we have various local authorities are there, and our daily activities, and then most one is the sanitation, most one is the hygiene and sanitation for human being. So during the hygienic and sanitation process, the water which we are using, and that particular water is uh, polluted by our activities. So daily activities, and that particular water is thrown into the resource into open area. So therefore, here one word is there, and that is the wastewater. So which water is used, however that water is used, but because of our activities, that water get polluted or the contaminated, and that the produced water is the wastewater. Then one more thing is there, that is the water conservation. So water conservation is one of the concern uh, for the uh, prevention of that particular pollution. So now, in case of the water pollution, this occurs when energy and other materials are released into the water, contaminating the quality of it for the other user. When industry use the water, so industry needs the pure water, and that particular then effluent, whatever after the industrial work, after industrial processing, then where goes that particular wastewater? So this water itself is openly thrown in the open area. This can we can see in the picture. So released into the water. So here different pollutants are also released into the water, and that can definitely contaminates the water resources, as well as if different pollutants are there, so definitely they contaminate the quality of the water. So now we have to see what are the water pollutants. So before going that, all of you are well known about the different chemicals which are used, different materials which are used by us, and definitely there are the water pollutants. One most important, we start from the petroleum hydrocarbon. So what about the petroleum hydrocarbon? Those are obtained from the petroleum resources. So from when we have the petroleum, this undergo the processing, this undergo the refining, and different petroleum products are obtained. What are those particular petroleum products? The very simple, diesel. Then the uh, diesel, and what we have, the petrol. So these are the petroleum products. So what we have, those petroleum products used by different transportation system. So during the transportation system, these particular petroleum products undergo the process of uh, combustion. So during the combustion process, energy is generated, and that energy is used for the purpose of the transportation. So what happened? If diesel petroleum product is there, and that is used by diesel vehicle, and in case of the petrol vehicles are used, petrol vehicles, their internal combustion. So during that, the waste of those particular petroleum, and that is thrown, whatever the human activity, whatever the transportation system, certain uncombustible hydrocarbon, those uncombustible petrol and diesel goes to outside, and that definitely they go to into the water resources. Then certain plastics are also water pollutant, certain paints and arsenic, and then we have the heavy metals. In case of the heavy metal, there may be the mercury, there may be the um, whatever the other antimony, there may be the other cadmium. So certain heavy metals are. Then we have the sewage, one of the What about the sewage waste? So sewage waste itself is after our sanitation and hygiene, then the wastewater is called the sewage wastewater. Then radioactive waste, where we get the nuclear, if nuclear activities are there, and including the nuclear activity, and one more is the production of the generation of electricity by the use of the nu- nuclear fuel. So during that, the processing of the nuclear fuel to generate the electricity, so certain radioactive waste are also the pollutant. Then thermal effluent detergents. This one is also important. Thermal effluent. What about that? If suppose we have the certain industries which have the boilers, so that particular hot water, that if effluent, the detergents. So therefore, thermal. For example, if we have the chlorinated, so chlorinated compounds are for the, and these can affect. So here, whatever the detergents are also linear alkyl benzene, chloroform, then food processing waste. In case of the food processing waste, the fat and greases, then we have the insecticides, and then we have the herbicides, petroleum hydrocarbon, we have earlier discussed, the gasoline, that is the petrol, diesel, then the fuel, jet fuels, and the fuel oil. So these are the example of the petroleum hydrocarbon. Then next one is the lubricants. So in case of the lubricant, however, they help to run the machine, and that is those element, those materials are the lubricants. So in different cases, motor oils lubricants are used. So these lubricants are also the example of water pollutant. And one more is the storming water runoff. So during the rain, heavy rain, whatever that particular rain, then that particular water is called the storming. So storm water runoff. So that can be also causes the water pollutants. These are the water pollutants. Now we can say the that is whatever this is the from also the storm water. Now, what are the causes of the water pollution? Here, various causes, and that causes relates with the direct activities of human being. Why such activities needs for the human? Because human needs these activities for the sustainability of human being. What happen? Various technologies are available for human. So during that particular facilities, the different products are formed, and those products when throw into the water resources, so that become the pollution. So here the water pollutants, for example, if suppose we in our houses we are using the different paints. So paints having the different different organic compounds, and all of you know that particular. What is the guarantee of that particular organic compounds used by us are the safe? There is one more thing is there. One can I can give one of the basic fundamental regarding the chemicals. We have to see the organic compounds. In case of the organic compounds, number of organic compounds are available. So one thing is that the organic compound, classification of organic compound, the further basics of the chemistry. And in case of the classification of organic compounds, we have the aliphatic and aromatic. What is the meaning of the aromatic compound? Here you can see my lecture in the organic as an introduction. So one more thing is there, how those organic compounds affects our life. So little bit the benzene and its derivatives. What is the benzene? Carbon 6 cyclic compound. Carbon are the six in number, hexagonal shape, but there are the three pi bonds. One thing. And one more thing is there, because of three pi bond, three double bond, we can say, and those three double bond in that particular case, and there is the delocalization of that particular electron. So that is the benzene. Now, why I am discussing here the benzene? Because we have certain modifications in our body, and those modifications appears from the whatever there may be the different issues. One thing, and that one what we can say, the genetic modification. So genetic modification is because of the organic compound. Then teratogenic, whatever one more thing is there, and that is the specificity carcinogenic materials. So here I am discussing that benzene and its derivatives. All those aromatic compounds, benzene and its derivatives, they influence ourselves. How? Whatever I have discussed that uh, because of so many things, I have discussed the carcinogenic material. So benzene and its derivatives are the carcinogenic material, teratogenic material. So therefore, those particular chemicals go to the water. Carcinogenic material. What are those? Simple organic compound, simple aromatic compound, simple benzene derivatives. Those are the carcinogenic materials. So therefore, the number of pollutants are available all around us. So what are the causes of water pollution? One thing is the marine dumping. In case of the Chennai and Bangalore and Madras, Chennai and Mumbai, marine dumping is there. So what happened? Marine will be the sea, and marine water will be polluted. Industrial waste. During the industrial activities, certain large number of chemicals are used, but when after using the water, that particular water is thrown into the natural resources. So that is the industrial wastewater. So what happen if suppose any of the industry and they have the arsenic containing compound? Arsenic are the toxic in nature. If mercury containing compounds, mercury containing um, users by that, the simple one, that is the artificial light system where mercury is used. However, mercury itself is the toxic. Then certain other carcinogenic compound. So here, marine dumping, the industrial waste, and then sewage, mainly from the households. This is also because we are using lots of material, lots of items for our sustainability. We are using, we have the shelter, we have the houses, we have certain other activities. So sewage waste, this came from the household material. So household material itself is the what we have, the sewage waste, because that is generated. Definitely, sewage waste is generated, and that sewage waste itself is where we get this that particular sewage waste because of the our cleaning. One thing, cleaning activities, body cleaning activities, then all those materials goes into the effluent water, if outside from the users. So that for outside from the houses, and that is become the sewage waste. So from one household, specific type of sewage waste, in another case. So there may be that depends on the user. If suppose certain toxic chemicals are used in the bathroom, and those are for the purpose of the cleaning, but we anyone know about that, what chemicals are used for the purpose of the cleaning. Therefore, that particular toxic chemicals are also added into the sewage waste water. So here are the various causes of there. So out of those we can discuss. Lots of discussion has been done. Now here different types. What are the metals contamination? What are the here number of things we are biological contamination, then the physical contamination, oil pollution, and then so oil pollution is also one of the cause of the water pollution. Oil are also causes the water. Water get polluted when oils are present. So different oil tankers, when we have to see spilling of the oils during the transportation, during the production of other things, oil pollution is also responsible, and this is also one of the great concern. Let's we have the different things, and last one, that is the underground storage leak. This one is also important. When we have to seek the any of the well, different wells, then the tube well, so different tube wells, specific tube wells. So here how we can say the storage leak is there. So here we can say the number of water pollutant causes are there, and those are pointed or non-pointed. Now we have the water problems. What are the water problems of here? One more thing is there, the dissolved oxygen. I have earlier discussed in the solution. Solution itself is what? What is the meaning of the solution? A substance, okay, soluble in the B1, B substance. So that particular thing is the solution is formed. So how this solution is formed, that depends on the other characteristics. Now, so dissolved oxygen, DO means the dissolved oxygen itself is present, and so that is why present in the sample of water, because uh, there is so here uh, different effects of the water pollution. One thing, lowering in dissolved oxygen, and that is harmful to the aquatic animals. Aquatic animals means those animals lives in the water. And then second, eutrophication. This is also the accumulation of industrial waste, industrial non-important valued waste, and that is the concern of the eutrophy. So here bioaccumulation, that is also because of the bio related because when we have to see the pesticide, and pesticides are used by different agriculture purposes. So here bioaccumulation means that particular uh, uh, pollutant under appears and accumulated. So for example, in case of the pesticide, so pesticides accumulation, we have to see the food chain. So in case of the food chain, for example, aquatic food chain. So where in case of the aquatic food chain, that particular specific so during the food chain, that particular if we have to see in that particular pollutant is present in water, so that particular uh, pollutant where go, that goes in different stages of food chain, and lastly where go, that is in the quaternary consumers. So there, in that particular case, so in for example, if suppose we have to go towards we have to see the food chain, aquatic food chain. So lastly that goes into the, and where this will be accumulated. So accumulation of pesticide, in the last tropic level, which one? That is the quaternary consumer. So in case of the quaternary consumer, the last consumer, so there the amount of pesticides will be accumulated in millions time. If suppose zero point 0.1 gram, 0.01 gram of pesticide is present, so that is multiplied by 10 lakh. So definitely we can say, and that accumulation. So in the quaternary consumer, the maximum amount of toxicity appears. So this is the bio accumulation. Then magnification. This is the magnifies that certain toxic chemicals shows there. If suppose we have to see the skin disease, so therefore there will be magnification that particular disease is because of the arsenic contamination. So arsenic itself may be those given the accumulation as well as what we have the magnification. Magnify, whatever the meaning of the magnify, to enlarge. So that is the enlarge bio magnification. Minimum minimata disease, this is one of the concern. And here blue baby syndrome, that is hemoglobinemia, this one, and fluorosis, that is because of the fluoride present, and methemoglobinemia, that is because of the nitrate. Minmata disease, this disease when spreads in those particular time, those particular area. So Minmata disease uh, in which so many peoples were died. So these are the further blue baby syndrome. This is because of the nitrate available, and and that particular disease is called the methemoglobinemia, and that is risky disease. Then we have the fluorosis. Pesticides are harmful for the aquatic life. Now, water pollutants, we have discussed various health hazards on human being. I have discussed the skin disease. There may be the heart disease related. So what is the blood circulation system? So there are also health adverse because of the pollutants. Now certain organs are damaged, so there is also the water pollution. If suppose polluted water is used by our vital organs, so definitely that particular water will be reduced. So here we can say the different health hazards on the human being, the organs. So different pollutants affects the organ as well as the physiological activities are there. Here are the questions. Whatever the first one, the excess of which iron in drinking water can lead to blue baby. Whatever he has discussed, that is the answer, because of the nitrate pollution, nitrate present in sample of water. Blue baby syndrome is a disease that is caused when the baby consumes drinking water, which is rich in nitrates. It is caused uh, when the maximum limit of nitrate in water is above 50 ppm, which is when this ppm is crossed. Then the other question, and this is the full form of PCB. This one is also one of the toxic chemicals. So printed circuit board, but polychlorinated biphenyl PCB. This one is very toxic in nature. So how this can be there? Polychlorinated biphenyl means the chlorinated benzene derivatives. I have earlier discussed about that benzenes are the most toxic, even they are the carcinogenic. So polychlorinated biphenyl, this is the correct answer. Polychemical by, this is not. Polychlorinated biphenyl is used as a cleansing solvent. Okay, and PCB are also suspected to be carcinogenic. Whatever the mention that can lead to the cancer, carcinogenic material. Bacteria responsible for biodegradable. So this is the correct answer. Itself is the PCB, polychlorinated. Now, water should be tested for fluoride in ion concentration for drinking water. The answer is true. For drinking purpose, water should be tested for fluoride ion concentration and its deficiency in drinking water that is harmful to men and causes disease such as tooth decay, one of the cause. But it represents in higher concentration and it causes brown motting of teeth and it also leads to the harmful effects in the bones. So therefore, the next question, the maximum limit of which of the drinking water is the 50 parts per billion. The correct answer, lead. So lead itself, where we get, that is by we have to see anti-knocking material. In case of the anti-knocking material, tetraethyl lead is used. In uh, petrol, already there is present anti-knocking material, and that is the lead containing compounds. So this is the 50 parts per billion. What do you mean by the parts per billion? That is what we have. Parts per million is the 10 lakh types. In case of the PPB, then this will be 100, 1000 times less. 10 raised to power minus 10 raised to power 9. So that is very so here that is the fluoride. So above that definitely causes adverse effect for the human being. Water is mainly used in boilers for the generation of the steam. That's the well known. We have already discussed one of the discussion in the boiler feed water, and that you can see that particular boiler feed water and generates the electricity. So how electricity is generated? That is because of the water is boiled and then steam is obtained. Boilers boilers are used as a container and where the water is boiled. Water is mainly used in boilers for the generation of steam. This steam is further used in the power plant for the generation of electricity. Now the next question, what is the most amount of oxygen required by bacteria to break down organic matter present in certain volumes of sample of water? So here can say that sample of water is called, and the correct answer, biological oxygen demand. The amount of oxygen required uh, required by bacteria to break down the organic matter present in a certain volume of a sample of water is called the biochemical oxygen demand. The amount of biochemical demand in water is the measure of the amount of organic material. So this represents the direct organic material in the water in terms of how much oxygen will be required to break it down biologically. Clean water has the BOD value less than 5. So therefore, we have to see that particular concern. Next question, whatever, there are lots of questions. So anyone have any of the query, then he or she can ask me any time, whatever my mobile number is given and whatever my mail ID, you can mail ID itself, that is concerned rc.chipa at the rate of myganvia.com, or you can visit our university site, and that is the ganvia.org. .org. So here I am from the Suresh Ganviar University, and here we have the number of courses, including the chemistry related courses, whatever the role of the chemistry in the engineering chemistry part, as well as the different technology. However, the chemistry itself is the mother of all the technology. So before going that towards the water pollution itself, the different technologies, whatever different technologies available on the planet, and those are directly related with the water, but the used water get the polluted. So this is what we have. We can say why that particular water is get the soluble. So this one is the concern of that particular. Here the fundamental of water, whatever those, the physical characteristics, the chemical characteristics, and then their specific characteristics by which the water become the universal solvent. And definitely universal solvent is means that anything can be contaminate, anything can be there in water sample, and that process is called whatever uh, the pollution. The pollution itself that is caused by different chemicals, and most of the chemicals are the adverse, the toxic in nature. Whatever we have discussed about the lead, so lead itself is very toxic. We have already discussed the Minmata disease, already discussed the blue baby syndrome. Number of human healths are because health issue concerned are because of the used water. So what type of water can be used? So this is we have to search then, and we have to back to the government where the water pollution can be minimized. So that is all about the water pollution. So all the best, all of you have to use my another video lectures and like that particular video, and share your views on the video, as well as anyone can discuss me. My mobile number and my email ID is given. Okay, all the best.